to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I wanted to talk with you today about angels. I think angels are something that can really help people, and there's a lot of confusion about what angels are and what they can do for us. So angels are light beings. They are non-human beings that are here to help us in our mission and in our daily life. And there is no problem that is too big or too small for angels, which is really important. I ask for angels for help with anything from finding a parking spot to a job connection or connecting with people that can help me with my work. Angels are frequently thought of as being white with wings, and they can appear that way to some people, but they actually can appear in many different ways, depending on what your belief systems are. And they are not Christian beings. They are in many different religions throughout the world, actually, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and many other religions and cultures around the world have beliefs about angel-like beings, whether they call them angels or not. So I think that's really helpful. So even if you're not Christian or Muslim or anything, you can still call on angels. It doesn't have to do specifically with religion. So angels are there for us, but we need to call on them. We need to ask for their help because of free will. They won't assist us unless our life is in danger, unless we ask for their help. So if we're going to die before it's our time, they'll step in and intervene for us, and there's a lot of amazing stories that people have about that. But in daily life, when we are struggling or we need assistance, or maybe even just when we feel sad, we can call on the angels to help us, and they will. And they can do it in many different ways. They can help us literally feel happier and more safe. Sometimes they actually come into physical bodies, so you'll have an interaction with someone who just seems like they're not really a person, and they aren't. They are an angel being who has come into body to help you. They also help by giving you ideas that are the answers to your prayers. So if you're looking for a job, you might have this urge to call a friend that you've never spoken with before. And when you connect with that person, they suddenly have the urge to tell you about a position or maybe someone else that they know. So that's an example. But angels also communicate with you in many other ways, including through lyrics to a song. That's very common. So some song comes on the radio and you've just asked a question to yourself looking for some guidance, and maybe the lyrics to that song are guidance. Or you'll see a sign, drive by a billboard, or see something in the newspaper, overhear a conversation. All of these are ways in which the angels can answer your questions and give you guidance. So when you start to pay attention, it's pretty amazing what you can hear. Another sign that angels are helping you and giving you support, in addition to messages, are finding feathers in unusual places. I have lots of funny stories about finding feathers, and one of my favorites is being in a meeting with a friend of mine, and this was in an office building with windows that don't open, and it's just a closed ceiling, and halfway through the meeting, all of a sudden I looked up, and there was this tiny little feather that's just floating down from the ceiling. There were no birds in the room, of course. It just was in the middle of this hour-long meeting, and I knew that that was a sign from the angels of support, and some really wonderful things did happen after that meeting. Another way that they'll communicate and give you support is through symbols like rainbows, like seeing a rainbow, or even painted on a rainbow. It doesn't even have to be real, or finding coins in unusual places. In terms of knowing when angels are around you, there's a couple of things that are signs to me that they're around. One, you might feel a lot of heat or comfort physically in the room. Sometimes you'll feel like someone's touching your hair or playing with your shoulder, touching you when there's no one there. So oftentimes that's an angel. They also sometimes make people hear kind of angelic twinkling noises, kind of heavenly music. So those are some strong signs. Some people even feel ringing in their ears or popping, like the feeling that you have when you go in an elevator or in different elevation, like popping sounds in your ears from adjustments in elevation, but you're sitting or standing in the same place. So that's a very common angelic sign. So I just encourage everyone to call on their angels for problems big and small. We all have at least one guardian angel, and then there's also millions of angels, and maybe even more, that are there to help you, including archangels, which are very powerful angels. Archangel Michael is there to help with fear. He's also the angel that is said to have fought the battle against the devil, so he's good for fighting fear or any dark forces or entities. Archangel Raphael is the patron saint of travelers and of healers. So if you need to heal from something, you're sick, you don't feel well, you can call on Archangel Raphael. And he's also excellent to call on when you're traveling, even when you're in your car, or on a bigger, more long distance trip. Angel Gabriel or Gabriel, some people pronounce it either way, is the archangel of communication and the arts. So if you're writing something, if you're trying to communicate, give a speech, even though the angels don't have a gender, a lot of people refer to Gabriel as she, having a slightly more feminine feeling. So those are 3 very strong archangels that you can call on regularly. So thanks for listening, and I hope that after watching this episode that you will have your own experiences of finding feathers in unusual places or getting messages from the angelic realm. Thanks for watching. For more information on Healing Powers TV podcast and events, or if you'd like a reading, you can go to www.healingpowers.net. Thank you.